Good afternoon, respected sir and my dear friends. Today, our topic is electric vehicles. Our subject is environmental science. Our paper code is MC481. It is presented by me, Bodhisattva Choudhury.
And I, Ritankar Choudhury.
Now, we would like to express our special thanks of gratitude to our Guru, Sri Somojit sir, who provided us the golden opportunity to pursue this wonderful project on electric vehicle, who also helped us in completing our project. We came to know about so many new things and we are really thankful for that.
Okay. Here are the contents. Firstly, the composition of air, introduction, origin of electric vehicle, types of electric vehicle, carbon footprint, basic components of electric vehicle, mechanism of electric vehicle, advantages and disadvantages of EV, common myths about electric vehicle, some famous EV, awareness, initiative taken by our government, conclusion and reference.
Okay, now moving on to our next slide. This is the composition of air. We can see there is 78% of nitrogen, oxygen is 20.9%, carbon dioxide is 0.03%, argon is 0.9%, other gases constitute of 0.17%. Here we can see the amount of carbon dioxide is so less. So why are we bothering about it? To understand it, let's move on to our next slide. Now, here we are going to see the fossil carbon dioxide emissions. If we observe the data in the year 2000, we can clearly see the carbon dioxide emission was below 25 billion tons. And now moving further to 2002, we can see the graph rising. In between the year 2008 to 2017, we can see clearly the increment of 1.5% per year. And further in 2018, we could see the jump from 1.8 to 3.7 and further to 2.7%. Now, in the next slide, we are going to see the state-wise carbon dioxide emissions in India. Here we can see that Gujarat is holding the first position by a total of 90 million tons emission of carbon dioxide and has a total share of 18% in overall emission. And if we consider the state with least carbon dioxide emission, then it is Uttarakhand, which is 10 million tons and holding a share of 2% in overall emission. This is the reason why we are so much concerned about the 0.03% of carbon dioxide in air, which is nothing except a slow poison to us. So to reduce this factor, we are about to learn a simple thing which can change the entire scenario, and the thing is electric vehicle. So what is electric vehicle?
As Bodhisattva said, that electric vehicle can reduce the use of carbon dioxide, we need to know about electric vehicle. So what is EV? An electric vehicle is one that operates on an electric motor. Here the electric energy is converted into the mechanical energy. It is easy to charge and fast to go. It takes energy from renewable sources and it is highly efficient with less amount of fuel consumption. Now we are moving to the origin of EV. The first EV was developed by William Morrison between 1890 to 91. Here you can see a picture of William Morrison. He created an electric car which had a capacity of 6%. It successfully achieved a top speed of 14 miles per hour. And the interesting fact is that it gives a decent competition to the modern Volkswagen EV. Now, here are the types of electric vehicle. Firstly, PHEV, which is plug-in electric hybrid vehicle, HEV, hybrid electric vehicle, and lastly, BEV, battery electric vehicle. So, what is PHEV? A PHEV is a hybrid vehicle which has both IC engine and an electric motor which can be charged via plugging it into an electric source. Here we can see the two-way power output in the picture, an IC engine and as well as a motor. The IC engine gets power from the fuel tank, whereas the motor gets power from the battery. The battery is further charged from an external source. Now HEV. A HEV is a type of vehicle that combines a conventional IC engine with an electric propulsion system. Here we can also see the two-way power output, an IC engine and a motor. But the main difference is that we are not using any external source to charge the battery. Instead, we are using the kinetic energy which we are getting from the rotation of wheel to charge the battery with the help of a generator. Now, BEV, battery electric vehicle. A battery electric vehicle, which is a pure electric vehicle that exclusively uses chemical energy stored in the rechargeable battery packs with no secondary source of propulsion. So, in short, we can say that a BEV is a electric vehicle that gets power only from one source, and that is from the lithium-ion battery.
So now let's see a graph to get a quick comparison between IC engine hybrid vehicles and electric vehicles, as Ritanka told in the previous slide. Here we can see two coordinates. In the y-axis, we can see the amount of carbon footprint or the amount of carbon dioxide that is released into the environment. And in the x-axis, we can see the time of ownership graph. If we consider a petrol or a diesel engine, we can see that in the first year of purchase, the carbon footprint is 1, which is very less. But later it burns fuel, and in the fourth year, we can see it has increased more than 6. Now, in case of an hybrid vehicle, it has a higher amount of carbon footprint due to presence of some batteries in it, but it uses less amount of fuel, so over time it gets better. Now, if we see EV, in an EV, we can see it uses much more higher amount of carbon footprint than that of a petrol diesel vehicle or an hybrid vehicle because of the presence of huge lithium-ion batteries in it. But during time, we can see any increment in the graph because it consumes only electricity. So no traces of carbon footprint can be found. So now it totally depends on you. What will you choose? A vehicle which will pollute the environment over time, or a vehicle which will not affect the environment and help to reduce the carbon dioxide in nature? Now let's move on to our next slide. We all know that we all use some kind of transportation to reach to our desired destination. Let it be a bicycle, a bus, a car, or an aeroplane. From all of this, we know that a cycle is known to be eco-friendly, as it does not consume any fuel other than human resource. But we must all know that the process of manufacturing it includes a lot of carbon footprint. In fact, anything we use in our daily life is somehow connected to this carbon footprint. So we are talking about this carbon footprint in the previous slide as well as also in this slide. So what is this carbon footprint? The amount of carbon dioxide that is released into the atmosphere as a result of activities of a particular individual, organization, or community is known as carbon footprint. Now you must be wondering why I named it carbon footprint. A car that you drive will lead your destination one day to your bone.
Okay, now we're moving to the basic components of electric vehicle. Firstly, the traction battery pack. As you know, the main function of a battery is to store the electric energy in form of DC current. Now the power inverter. The main function of the inverter is to convert the DC current into AC. The controller. The main function of the controller is to distribute the electrical energy in the batteries from the batteries to the electric motor. And it is the huge part of the electric vehicle, and that is the electric motor, because it generates the power which is used to start the electric vehicle. It is the charging system. It is a very much important system because for that we are getting charge in the battery of the electric vehicle. And the transmission system. For this system, we are getting a proper transmission of the power in the electric vehicle, so we can get a maximum speed in the electric vehicle. And lastly, the cooling system. This system maintains a proper operating temperature in the electronic components and in the whole electric vehicle. Now we are moving to the mechanism of the electric vehicle. We will see here how electric cars have achieved a superior performance by analyzing the technology behind the induction motor. Before that, we'll see that what is an inverter. Yes, you can see here that it is the inverter. We already discussed it. It is the lithium-ion battery pack. Now we are moving to the construction details of the induction motor. Induction motor have mainly two parts. One is stator and another one is the rotor. Here you can see the construction details of the rotor. Yes, it is the construction details. Now, what is the mechanism? Actually, a three-phase power input is given to the induction motor, and it is generate the magnetic field, and this is the four-pole magnetic field. This rotating magnetic field induces current which flow through these wires. The beauty of the induction motor that its speed depend on the frequency of the AC current. As you can see here, that N is directly proportional to the F. So just by varying the power able to alternate the drive wheel speed. So for this, we get a huge range for varying the speed. The motor speed can be in the range of 0 to 18,000 RPM. This sizable range gives a decent advantage in compared to a IC engine. In an internal combustion engine, it produces usable torque and power output only with a limited range. You can see here that it produces only the usable torque and power output. Moreover, in the IC engine, we are getting the linear motion. So it is most complicated. And for this, we are getting less efficiency in the IC engine in compared to the induction motor. For the induction motor, the efficiency is 90%, but in the IC engine, it is only 35%. Yes, you already discussed it, that in IC engine, it produces the only linear motion. So for this, we are getting many mechanical problems. But in case of induction motor, we are getting directly the rotational motion and the uniform power output. As a result, in the typical IC engine, we are getting only weight to power ratio is 0.8 kilowatt per kg. But in other hand, for the induction motor, we are getting 8.5 kilowatt per kg. Now, from where the battery gets power? It's from the battery pack. The battery supplies DC power. So just before supply to the motor, it should be converted into the AC power. An inverter is used for this purpose. This is also control the AC power frequency. So it plays a huge role to control the motor speed. Moreover, it can control the amplitude of the AC power. You can see here that how the amplitude is varying in the AC current. In the graph, you can see it. Thus, we can say that inverter is the brain of the electric car, as it is control the motor speed. Okay, now let us focus the battery pack. Here we are using the lithium ion battery. The batteries are arranged in series to each other so that we can get a proper heat dissipation. Although you may have a thought that why we are using many small batteries instead of one. Actually, if we use many small batteries instead of one, the heat dissipation will be proper, and it also minimize the thermal hotspot. Here you can see how the cooling factor is work. And the amusing fact is that we are using here 7,000 cells of battery. Moreover, the battery packs is placed close to the ground, and for this it gets a better stability and it also gives a structural support. Now we are moving to the transmission system. As you already discussed that from the transmission system, we are getting a proper transmission of the power output in the wheels so that we can get the maximum power in the electric vehicle. Here you can see that how the transmission is work. Now the electric propulsion system. Here we are using the one pedal driving and the regenerative braking system to reduce the loss of kinetic energy. Now electric propulsion system. Here the kinetic energy of the car is converted into the electricity, and how it is, let's give it a watch. Yes, here you can see the rotational motion that we are getting from the wheel is directly converted to the electricity via a generator, and this electricity is used for further recharging the battery. And last but not the least is the huge safety feature, and it is the huge crumple zone. So you may have a thought that what is the huge crumple zone? Typically, crumple zones are located in front part of the vehicle, which is used to absorb the impact of a head-on collision, and it gives a huge safety feature. And now from that, Bodhisattva will continue.
Okay, thank you, Ritankar. So now let's see why we should consider EV over so many choices. Firstly, it is environmental friendly. Secondly, it is cheap to maintain. Third, it does not produce any sound, so there will be no sound pollution. And due to extreme electronic aids, it is safe to drive. Next up, okay, how it is environmental friendly. If you are using or planning to buy an EV, you are definitely doing good for the environment. The earth has healed itself under the lockdown, and now we should definitely help the environment to be more green. A EV helps to reduce the amount of carbon footprint. Over a year of usage of just one electric vehicle can save an average of 1.5 million grams of CO2. You must be wondering how much is this value in real life? It is equivalent to two return flights from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. Can you imagine?
And now one more thing that can motivate you to buy an electric vehicle, it is the low capital and maintenance cost. An IC engine has more mechanical parts and therefore will have more complication and difficulty in maintenance. But in case of electric vehicle, it is cheaper to maintain because of its simple structure and operation. Nowadays, our main concern is the daily hike in the price of petrol and diesel. Now, let's see a quick comparison between the running cost of an IC engine and the electric vehicle. If we consider an IC engine, we are paying a charge of rupees 4 for 1 kilometer. But in case of electric vehicle, we are paying just 0.40 rupees per kilometer. So it is 10 times more cheaper than an IC engine. Now it's your turn to choose the vehicle. Do you choose a so-called cheap IC engine or an environmental friendly electric vehicle, which can be your dream bike also? So before making any decision, think about it.
So let's now move on to our next slide. That is wheel-to-wheel efficiency. So what is wheel-to-wheel efficiency? The amount of usable energy which is obtained from the source energy by neglecting all the losses is known as wheel-to-wheel efficiency. The higher the wheel-to-wheel efficiency, the higher is the efficiency of the vehicle. In case of an EV and IC engine, a EV is considered to be much more efficient. To understand it, let's see a simple calculation. At first, let's focus on the IC engine vehicle. We can see here the extracted amount of energy is 100 units. So it must be refined and it needs transportation to the nearest fuel bunk. So there must be some losses, let it be 12 units. So after the petrol or diesel or any the fuel is received to the petrol bunk, then the delivered energy, useful energy is 88 units. Now we need to further transport it to the vehicle. So after transportation, we know that there is engine and transmission loss that is huge. So let it be 75 units. So at a loss of 87 units, we are getting only useful energy that is 13 units. So an electric internal combustion vehicle is 13% well-to-wheel efficient. But in case of an electric vehicle, we can see that by 18 if we get 18 units of renewable energy, due to transmission and distribution, we must get a loss of around 1 unit, which is very less. After it gets delivered to the power station or the charging station, we get only 17 units. Now we need to charge the EV. So we all know that charging has some losses. So let the loss be 2.5 units. And we also know that it has an induction motor, as we already saw in the previous slide. So the motor will be having some also resistive losses. So let it be 1.5 units. So taking a loss of 5 units, we are getting only 13 units of useful energy. So EV is 74% wheel efficient. Now let's see a simple another calculation. So I will not be explaining this. If you want an explanation, then you can pause the video and see the calculation. So here the verdict is a small electric car is more than 2.5 times efficient than that of an equivalent petrol car.
Now, anything is not 100% efficient. So, electric vehicle have some disadvantages also. It takes long time to charge and deliver short range. The initial investment is high. As you know, the on-road price of an electric vehicle is much more higher than an IC engine. Now, the unavailability of the charging station, it is all about the short driving range. There are very less amount of charging stations available in near you, so you can't drive tension free to your destination. The electricity from which we recharge the battery is produced from burning of coal. Actually, in India, the electricity that is made of coal, and the burning of coal is harmful for nature and for us also. So it is a very important disadvantage for the electric vehicle.
Now let's move on to our next slide, that is myths and facts. We all have some myths. We all have some myths during buying anything. So before we go to buy an EV, we also have some myths. So let's break it. Our first myth is EVs are slow as tortoise. So what's the fact? For a safety reason, they are locked at a speed. In fact, we already saw that it has variable AC. So it has that instant torque generation. So it is not slow. It is just locked because of a safety feature. Now, our next myth is they can't function during harsh weather conditions like rain, waterlogging, or they can get easily damaged by coming in contact with water. So they are properly sealed so that water can't reach the sophisticated parts. Before running in Indian conditions, they are being examined carefully and properly whether there is any defect or not. So they are not prone to any weather condition. In fact, they have one advantage over a normal vehicle. A normal vehicle has an exhaust system. If they get stuck, then the air passage, and then there will be no air passage. So eventually they will lose power. But in case of an EV, you have the advantage of no exhaust system. So it will produce the same power in any weather conditions. Last, EV's batteries don't last long. Eventually they wear out soon. If you consider an IC engine, it requires not only petrol, but battery, mobile, coolant, air filter, and many more parts. If we sum this up, then they are not pocket friendly. But in case of EV, it only depends on battery. So this will not affect that much of an IC, that much as of an IC engine vehicle. In fact, we all know that nowadays all the batteries are recyclable. Now, let's see some of the initiatives that are taken by our government to promote EV. Our central government has planned to implement a budget of 10,000 crores to support EV according to FAME 1. The FAME 1 is further modified for electric two-wheelers, and now government has planned to give subsidy of rupees 15,000 per kilowatt hour from earlier uniform subsidy of rupees 10,000 per kilowatt hour. The government also planned to support creation of charging infrastructure. Government has announced to give 15.62 lakh rupees to support EVs through subsidy. Government has also introduced the scrap policy. If you don't know, scrap policy, according to scrap policy, if you have any old vehicle, by scrapping it, you can get a huge discount on the upcoming non-polluting vehicle. So our government is also working hard to implement EV in India.
Not only the central government, but also the state government has taken some initiative to support EV. For a pollution-free transport system, the West Bengal government has already introduced 80 electric buses in Kolkata. The West Bengal government is planning to come up with charging stations in collaboration with CESC to encourage the use of more electric vehicles. WBREDA, which is commonly known as West Bengal Renewable Energy Development Agency, is an organization under the development of non-conventional and renewable energy sources, which also supports EV to use the renewable resources and improve the nature. In West Bengal, there is more than 20 registered electric vehicle charging stations already, where you can charge your electric vehicle easily. So here you can understand how much the West Bengal government helps to support electric vehicle.
Now let's see some of the famous EVs which are already popular in India. So let's see some four-wheelers. Tata Motors have their Nexon EV and Tigor EV. MG have their MG ZS EV Plus. Hyundai have Hyundai Kona. Mahindra have their E2 and Verito, and many more four-wheelers are going to launch this year. Now let's see the affordable section, that is the two-wheelers. We already know that Yo Bikes is the oldest one among all of them. Hero Electric also is stepping in this thing. Revolt Motors have already launched two vehicles, that is RB300 and RB400. Ather is a Bengaluru-based company which is making one of the best electric scooters. And at last, Joy e-bike is also making some good e-bikes. Next, here are the awareness that are taken by some Indian companies to promote EV. We all know that affording an EV nowadays is an expensive affair. For example, a Tata Nexon cost around 70 lakhs on road. So Tata has collaborated with Oryx Auto and introduced a plan which is a subscription based plan. By paying only rupees 29,000 per month, you can get a new Nexon EV without paying any down payment or maintenance, which is a very good gesture from Tata Motors.
And as Bodhisattva said, that e-bikes are mostly affordable. So here Revolt Motor introduced a plan called MRP to support the e-bikes, which is My Revolt plan. Here you can pay rupees 6,075 rupees per month over a period of 24 months, or you can pay rupees 4,399 per month over a period of 36 months to get a new Revolt e-bike. So it is a great initiative taken by the Revolt Motor.
Now let's move on to the conclusion. So what all do we conclude here? EVs are capable of reducing the amount of carbon emission with providing all the benefits of a regular vehicle. EVs are the new normal and we should support it wholeheartedly instead of letting it go. It is high time to understand our mistake and to rectify it.
And the time is right for electric cars. In fact, the time is critical. Electric vehicle that has been seen in recent years is not only extremely welcome, but highly necessary for the prevention of increment in global greenhouse level. Electric cars are critically important to the future of the automobile industry and as well as the environment.
Now let's see our references. So thanks to all of them for supporting us and helping us for making on this project. And I would also like to thank again Somujit sir for all the help. And lastly, thank you.
Stay safe, stay home.